Alright, looks like we're live. The house husband, congratulations, you are first.
Golly, the vast amount of modes and features in EA Sports WRC is just insane.
From anywhere on the WRC ladder. Want to build up a legacy across multiple classes? Then begin your journey with Junior WRC, as the Rally 3 cars are a great entry point for new players. You can also choose to start in WRC 2, or even jump straight in at the deep end with the Rally 1 cars in the top class of competition. Throughout your journey, you'll work with a benefactor who provides funding for your team, setting goals and objectives for you to meet across each season. Drive well and you'll get a bigger budget ahead of future rallies, hire a teammate, recruit more engineers, acquire new cars and more.
Career mode look like, you ask?
An appearance of your skills.
Or a car that...
Why so late? I just needed to get some sleep. I haven't been able to sleep in like 2 weeks, and I just wanted to make sure I get some sleep, so that's why it's so late.
That would be normal if I were a female, but last time I checked, I'm not a female, and nor do I identify as one. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going to be going over Harry Jowsey's use of performance-enhancing drugs, namely anabolic steroids, as he discusses this with none other than Dr. Mike, who has over 11 million followers and is an actual doctor.
Yeah, my parents sent me to school in New Zealand, and all the boys are a lot bigger there, and like rugby's like a religion.
And so this all started when his parents sent him to school, and rugby was a major sport. And as you know, rugby, a very violent sport of which stronger, bigger, faster individuals are.
Juantha late night stream. I must ask, why so late, Argon?
I needed sleep. I have a deload a week, and the whole point of taking this deload a week was so that I could get some sleep. So that's why so late. I just had to take a long nap in the afternoon, and I just woke up now. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
We're going to do a lot better.
So I thought, oh yeah, I'll be good, but I'm this skinny little twig and just got absolutely pumped.
And so Harry Jowsey thought he was going to do good. After all, he's 6'5". That is a very large man. But he was too skinny, had a harder time putting on muscle, and so perhaps he was an ectomorph.
I went and did my blood, and and my doctor was like, hey, he's like, your test levels are fine. Like, it's all good.
Okay.
But he's just like, you could be better.
And so he wanted to be an athlete. He wanted to perform better. He went to the doctor, got his blood work done, found out his testosterone levels were a little bit below the average. Not extremely low, not to the point that he'd actually need testosterone, but he wanted to do it. He wanted the testosterone to perform better, to build up muscle faster than last time.
He's just like, you could be better.
Oh no,
And
hyper optimization.
And I was like, well, let's juice me up.
And so the doctor, who probably makes money from doing this, says, you know, you're all right, but you could be better. And so he states in the video that giving testosterone, HRT, to individuals that don't actually need it, as in they're already producing adequate testosterone, it's going to do more harm than good. And so, sure, you have normal levels of testosterone. Let's call it 400 or 500 nanograms per deciliter. And you're thinking, that's not high enough. Somebody else has 800. Giving somebody testosterone at that point is not healthy. If you don't need it and you're prescribed HRT,
I mean, the point clearly wasn't for health, it was for performance reasons.
Also, happy October. This is the first Halloween mouth post-pandemic.
Oh yeah. It is October now. Well, thank you, Dodo. Appreciate the donation, man.
you're going to do more harm than good. Sure, you're going to build more muscle, but at what cost?
When I first came to LA, I think I was like,
That is just so stupid. Like, No shit, it's not healthy. The guy wanted to do it for performance enhancement reasons.
22, whatever.
Okay.
And all my friends are getting jacked in the gym and they're looking good. And I was always skinny and long.
And Phil, think of it. He was only 22 years of age, and he's comparing himself to all his other friends. The guy is 6'5". 6'5". He's not a manlet like Coach Greg. I'm 5'6".
But the money made me 6'5".
So nobody feels good enough. Everyone wants better. He's 6'5". Oh, but I'm not large enough. What does he need to do to look like The Rock? 6'5". Imagine the advantages in life he already has. Playing sports, playing basketball. How am I blocking this guy? I'm gonna jump a foot off the ground just to reach his hands.
I was always asking myself questions like, what? Like, why can't I put on size? I wouldn't just grow in a normal way.
And so he's comparing himself to other people. Why are they all putting on so much muscle and I can't do the same? Perhaps he's watching transformational YouTubes where people are fake natties putting on 20 pounds of muscle in 3 months and thinking, well, how come he put on so much muscle and I didn't? And so what happens inevitably? He results in using performance-enhancing drugs, aka testosterone, which was prescribed by a doctor even though he didn't need it. His testosterone levels were fine. He admits it himself. But he didn't care. He wanted to get juiced up. And so he says, I tried. I would end up getting skinny fat. You know, he went on a bulk and wasn't putting on a ton of muscle. And so just because you're in a calorie surplus doesn't mean you're going to put on a ton of muscle. It depends on your genetics.
Excess risk of developing heart disease and stroke is the bigger one, especially in younger men.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. That's
Florida is at it again.
Let me take a look, Dodo.
A Florida school district ordered the removal of all books featuring LGBTQ characters and themes. Characters, you heard that right. Just if there is a gay character in a book, a trans character in
So none of the Harry Potter books would be acceptable because there's gay characters in. That's insane. Have you seen the new study that came out on cats being fed a vegan diet and end up being healthier? Yeah, I have. I don't know why anybody's terribly surprised. Something you'd actually probably expect. Like, there's no particular reason why you would think meat is beneficial for a cat, other than just the micronutrients they need, like taurine, but you can just add taurine to their diet. And I mean, there's... If a food is more plant-based, it's less likely to have crap in it you don't want, like saturated fat. You know, these sorts of forever chemicals like phthalates, plastics. And the types of people who are going to feed a cat a vegan diet are probably going to make sure that the cat stays at like a healthy body weight, gets more exercise. So yeah, I think there's like 3 or 4 papers now showing cats are healthy or healthier on a vegan diet.
a book. They have to be removed in order to conform with the requirements of Ron DeSantis's Don't Say Gay law. This policy coming out of the Charlotte County School District is one of the most strict policies made in response to that law. Now, librarians in the school district.
I don't know how the hell this is even considered constitutional. There's no way that's constitutional. Like, there are very likely gay historical figures. Like, if we're gonna learn about history, how the fuck would you teach history if it's illegal to have any gay characters? And I mean, this is also non-secular. Like, there's clearly some sort of political motivation behind eliminating gay characters from all books. Like, it's no different than eliminating all black people. So somebody should challenge this, because that is fucking crazy.
District wanted clarity on how they were to comply with this Don't Say Gay law. And they received this shocking guidance from the district. So we'll pull this up. Now, this is from the superintendent of the district, Mark Vianello. Now, the first part is in what the teachers are asking, what their assumptions are about it, and then in blue is the response. So the first statement is novels to be used in courses or in the media centers with LGBTQ plus characters are acceptable as long as they do not have explicit sex scenes or sexual descriptions and are not approaching how-to manuals for how to be an LGBTQ plus person, which is an absurd notion as though that exists. But then the school district replied, no, books with LGBTQ plus characters are not to be included in classroom, libraries, or school library media centers.
That is directly contradictory. There's like what? You're allowed to have LGBTQ characters unless they act gay. And you're not allowed to have them in the school. Like what?
The next statement or the next question asked by the teachers and the librarians was, are we removing books from any school or media center pre-K through 12 if a character has, for example, two mothers or because there is a gay best friend or a main character is gay? To which the school district replied, yes.
Wow.
If a character in a book has two moms or two dads, that book is apparently not suitable for children. But they can show books to kids that have a mom.
Yeah, Alan Turing was gay. That is insane, bro, that we're in 2023 and we have an entire state basically making it illegal to be gay.
Mom and a dad, that's fine, that's appropriate, because the only time they see a couple and immediately think about them having sex, apparently, is when that couple is gay. It's absurd, but they took it even a step further because teachers wanted to know if the students could bring in their own books that feature these characters. And it won't surprise you what the district said. Here's the next one, the next guidance. The teachers asked, teachers need to be aware of what their students are reading for silent sustained reading in class or book reports or anything involving instruction, even if it is a student selected, to ensure they are not violating this rule. In other words, to ensure LGBTQ characters or themes do not exist.
Whoa, they're gonna do a witch hunt to see if fucking kids are reading books on their spare time, if there's any gay characters?
Or can they exist, but not cross into pornographic territory? To which the district replied, these characters and
what? Like, I'm sorry, they think only gay people have sex? Like, this is insane. How is this unique to gay characters?
Themes cannot exist. A student can't even bring in a book that they got from the public library, not the school library, the public library, or a book that they got in a bookstore if it has a gay character in it. The teacher will.
Yeah, that would mean all Harry Potter books are banned, which is nutty. So I'm pretty sure Dumbledore was on one of the covers and he's gay. Okay, these are modern covers. Yeah, Half-Blood Prince. Dumbledore is on the cover. This is just so crazy, bro. Yeah, fuck Florida. Holy shit, they're fucked. What am I gonna be for Halloween? Probably not gonna dress up. Maybe a Murmillo Gladiator. Maybe. I've always dug the armor they wear. So maybe I'll be a Murmillo Gladiator, maybe. Really like their helmets. Their helmets are really fucking badass. When the box came on my porch, box was damaged with a left dent on the side. Fin of the helmet was crooked. Brim of the hat part was curved in different places. Oh. I was actually thinking of doing IRL activism and dress in gladiator combat attire like this. And then if people fuck with me, I challenge them to gladiatorial combat. Don't know if anybody would agree, but I think that'd be kind of funny. They also wouldn't be able to play the game. Vegans, you know, can't get enough protein or whatnot. So, yeah, toxic masculinity. Who's scarier, Freddy Krueger or Mike Myers? Freddy Krueger, I think, especially at this point. The Halloween series has gotten kind of ridiculous. I think if you only count the first two movies, Mike Myers is a bit scarier than Freddy Krueger, but now that all the stupid movies are out, I think Freddy Krueger's scarier.
It's not something you want.
No.
You're like, I'm good.
And so the reality is this: when you tell people taking steroids can increase your risk of getting a heart attack or a stroke, young people don't care. They're thinking, yeah, I want to get jacked now. People are more likely to not use steroids because they don't want to get gynecomastia or acne than telling them they could shorten their life. And I'm not making this shit up. People are more worried about how they look than how long they live.
So the good side is you have testosterone already,
Oh,
and it was
okay.
normal. So like,
Okay.
more is not better than some.
And so more testosterone is not better than some. Let that sink in. And you're probably thinking, well, you're on HRT. Aren't you being a hypocrite? The answer is no. I abused steroids for 10 plus years. That was bad. Certainly not going to do anything to help me live longer than last time. But when I stopped taking testosterone after multiple blood tests, it showed that my testosterone levels were below 50 on both times. Below 50 nanograms per deciliter. That would be normal if I were a female. But last time I checked, I'm not a female, and nor do I identify as one. And so the doctor, aka my endocrinologist and expert in hormones, prescribed me HRT because it would do more harm than good to not take it. But if I've gotten my blood work done and had 400 nanograms per deciliter, the doctor would not have prescribed it. Would have said, oh, 400. Well, the reference range is 250 to
It's probably not as simple as that. There's a lot of doctors that consider harm reduction. And if a kid goes into your clinic who wants to take steroids for performance enhancement reasons, it's probably a better idea that they get a prescription than buy it illicitly.
1,000. So let's get you up to 1,000. Wouldn't have done that. And so more testosterone is not better than some. And so just because you're at 4 or 5 or 600
Well, that's bullshit. From a performance perspective, absolutely is.
nanograms per deciliter, injecting exogenous testosterone from an outside
Exogenous. Exogenous. Exogenous.
source, bringing it up to 8, 9, or 1,000 is not healthier, better for you than being at 4 or 500.
You know, he's like, oh, people take growth hormone and this and that. And I was like, well, come on. Like, I'm not trying to look like The Rock.
And so think of it. He says the doctor also said, hey, there's people that they take growth hormone, they take other things. He's like, I don't want to look like The Rock. And so at least he did not take everything, including the kitchen sink. But many times if you go to an HRT clinic, remember, they are incentivized to convince you to take supplements. They make more money by the more things they prescribe. But you might go in there with
I don't know if that's true. I actually don't think that is true. Pretty sure clinics don't make money off prescriptions. They make money off of consultations, but I don't think they make money off prescriptions unless some of the drugs they actually provide in the clinic.
If this handjobby demon is what we allow into our governments, maybe we all deserve just to hand over power to China. Only Sky Papai knows how the states have made it this far.
Let me take a look. Quest. Boebert.
Mr. Chair, I rise today to offer my amendment that utilizes the Holman Rule to reduce the salary of Sean Kelly, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Readiness. That salary shall be reduced to $1. As DOD's highest ranking trans official, this delusional man, thinking he is a woman, embodies and espouses the wokeism that's causing significant harm to our military readiness.
What? Oh my god. Dude, this is like the fucking 1930s, where it's like, let's get this N-word out of fucking here. Only white men should have power. Like, holy shit.
And troop morale.
I rise in the strongest opposition to this amendment. And people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect when being addressed. Assistant Secretary Skelly has served in her role admirably, as she has done as her time as an.
Somebody should have asked her if she thinks she deserves a pay decrease or to be fired for, like, jerking some guy off in public.
Naval officer.
Oh, dude, like, people should throw that at Lauren Boebert constantly now. Like, she's fucking making fun of somebody for being trans and discriminating against them. Like, people should be like, yeah, does it hurt morale to, like, be a whore in public?
Perfectly healthy levels, and they convince
That's
you
fucked.
to take
Thanks for the
something,
Nation of the Quest.
and perhaps when you get older, you will in fact regret it.
Are you taking anything?
No.
You should
I don't
get
even
on.
take-
You feel good?
And so Harry asked Dr. Mike, are you taking anything? He's like, no. And he's like, well, you should. Really. Dr. Mike looks perfectly healthy, seems happy, does not seem to be depressed, and he is in fact a doctor. And so why should he take anything if he's already feels good? And Dr. Mike knows.
Do you think there would have been less backlash against Last of Us 2 if Joel died a dignified death rather than the pathetic end he met? Yes. I think you would have seen no negative reviews whatsoever if Joel didn't die, period. But if he had died, like, at the end of the game, like saving Ellie or something, I think that probably would have gotten rid of all negative, you know, any kind of resentment towards the game. But the whole point of him dying at the beginning of the game was to give Ellie a motivation for the rest of the story. And I mean, one of the themes in The Last of Us 2 is like, anybody can die, life is so precious and so fragile, and like the world is just brutal. So there was a really big meaning to why, you know, they made that story decision. But yeah, stupid ass fucking kids who can't handle an adult story gave the game a bad review. You know, because everything has to be happy and work out in the end for them to actually like a story or like a game.
The risks. He's obviously analyzed this. He's educated on it. And so to suggest that the doctor should take something makes no sense. And no, there's certainly not a magical pill that makes you younger, but obviously there are several supplements that can in fact make you feel better. And my number one supplement that I recommend, also Andrew Huberman.
Okay, Huberman is a fucking quack. He has no fucking idea what he's talking about, and nobody should listen to him.
And others who have gone on the Joe Rogan podcast, spoken to how effective it is. The most amazing supplement, NMN, which is the main ingredient in GO2 Max.
Eminem probably doesn't do anything. The human research that exists right now is not astounding. To my knowledge, it hasn't been actually studied in a performance enhancement context. It's only been studied for people recovering from heart disease. And like people are able to go from being like wheelchair bound to being able to like walk maybe for a minute or two. It's like it's nothing.
This can dramatically improve your cardio. Double-blind placebo-controlled studies have shown this increases your cardio, as well as studies on trained
Minute walking distances. Yeah, so if you've suffered a heart attack, your cardiac performance can go way down, and you might also suffer from really bad angina. So Eminem, or NMN, it's just being shown to improve walking distances. It's not amazing. So if you're an athlete, you're probably running, cycling really hard, you know, jumping, sprinting. I don't know how being able to walk a few more meters really does anything for you.
runners. And so whether you're a couch potato or a seasoned
Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Nicotinamide. Let's see. 6-week randomized double-blind blah 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 up your butt, including 48 young middle-aged recreationally trained runners. Participants were randomized into 4 groups: low dose, medium dose, high dose. So there was no group that received no dosage. Oh wait, and control group, never mind. Each group consisted of 10 male participants and 2 female participants. Each training session was 40 to 60 minutes. Runners trained 5 to 6. Okay, so there is. Change baseline over 6 weeks showed that oxygen uptake percentage of maximum power at first ventricular threshold, power at second, increased to a higher degree. No difference in VO2 max, O2 pulse, VO2 related to work week, and peak power after 6 weeks. So NMN increases the aerobic capacity of humans during exercise training, and the improvement is likely a result of enhanced O2 utilization of the skeletal muscle. This does not seem to be a substantive difference if it doesn't increase your VO2 max. Yeah, it doesn't increase VO2 max, O2 pulse, VO2 related to work rate, and peak power. So it seems like they weren't actually able to run faster or run longer. So what's the point of taking it?
or seasoned athlete, taking GO2 Max can improve your performance. And if it gives you more energy, makes you feel better.
And then he shows this chart from a completely unrelated study.
More energy makes you feel better.
Like, this is so misleading. So he shows a study in runners that actually, like, they saw what are essentially arbitrary improvements to O2 utilization, but it didn't actually improve performance. So their VO2 max didn't increase, their work rate didn't increase. They didn't get an increase in peak power. And then he shows, like, a improvement in people who didn't exercise, who had heart disease, where their ability to walk further distances increased. Like, what the fuck?
And if it gives you more energy, How is it not a good
Yeah, dude. His supplements, like a lot of them are just total bullshit.
thing? And so although I know you can make improvements with absolutely no supplements at all, if you're looking to maximize your performance,
Like, what's bizarre? Beta-alanine does a better job than NMN. If you look at runners, you get a better performance boost from beta-alanine than NMN. Because with the NMN study he showed, there was no actual measurable improvement to their actual performance. But with beta-alanine, you do see a measurable improvement to performance.
give Geo2max or any of my
It's not just an
supplements a
arbitrary
try.
metabolic
Interested in
marker.
any of my supplements, don't forget code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description.
What about Tren? Apparently Tren's really bad for you.
I mean,
I haven't tried
they're
it.
all not good for you
Okay.
when you don't need them.
But this is from a doctor.
It doesn't make it better.
And so Harry
You cannot get trenbolone from a doctor.
then brings up, well, at least it's not trend. This is from a doctor. Doctor at least makes it better. And well, I have to agree. If you're taking steroids illegally, not from a doctor, you'd never know what you're actually getting. And so at least if you're prescribed HRT and you're getting your blood work monitored, you know whether or not you're doing damage to your body. And so a lot better to always get monitored by a doctor. And so if you are taking anything, best advice is to go over with your doctor, ensure that you're being healthier than last time. Like the video if you liked it.
I was able to dunk a basketball in high school, and that was when I had really fucked up knee problems at the time. So I could probably do it now. Maybe I'd need to do a bit of training to work on my vertical leap, but I could dunk a basketball in high school. Callus donated $2. Great job in that debate. You smashed. Suppose you knew for certain that buying bagels from a hitman would lead to them killing an additional victim that they wouldn't have targeted otherwise. Do you have an obligation to avoid this transaction? I suppose you would. Like, if I don't know, if I knew, I don't know, buying something from somebody would make them kill someone or buy child porn or something, then yeah, I at least wouldn't feel comfortable with giving them money if I knew they were going to use that money to, like, buy a gun and then kill somebody, or use that money to buy child porn or something. I certainly wouldn't support them and, like, buy something from them. Whether you have an obligation, maybe. I guess with the hitman analogy, it kind of depends on who they're killing, but yeah, assuming they're killing like a vegan, yeah, you'd probably have an obligation. Probably. Thanks for the donation though, Callus. Appreciate it. Did you ever dunk with two hands? I don't think I did. I did a single hand dunk, but I could jump up and grab the rim with two hands. I've tried that. But I've never bothered dunking with one hand. I just didn't need to. Thanks for the donation though, Matthew. Would have liked it if Ellie found a dead Abby in Santa Barbara. Well, Abby didn't deserve to die. I think Joel certainly did enough where he deserved to die. I don't think Abby did. She was overall a good person. I liked Abby. People hated on Abby way too fucking much. And they just hated her because she killed Joel. Like, there's no other reason. It'd be kind of interesting if they made a prequel to The Last of Us where you saw what happened to Joel in between the prologue of Last of Us where his daughter died and the beginning of Last of Us where he met Ellie, because that was like a 10-year time period. And he admitted he killed innocent people and shit. So maybe if they made a prequel game where you saw just how bad Joel was after his daughter died, people would be more sympathetic to Abby. But if you caught what happened in the story of Last of Us 1, like Joel admitted, he killed probably dozens of innocent people, if not more. Like, he admitted to that himself. Okay, I thought this was stupid.
If you have a gun, you're not very intelligent.
Why's that?
Because you're paranoid.
Wait a minute. If you have a gun, you're not intelligent because you're paranoid?
Having a gun means that you're afraid that someone's going to come and attack you.
Because everybody knows no one's going to come and attack you ever in your entire life. There's no such thing as strong arm robberies, break-ins, home invasions, public shootings. Nothing ever bad happens to anybody that would require a gun. Oh yeah, rapes. Nobody's going to rape you, right? Fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. You know. So what I'm saying is that if you have a gun and if you think you need a gun for your house for whatever, if you think you have something that's worth someone else's life, then you are.
I'm worth someone else's life. My wife is worth someone else's life. My pets are worth someone else's life. My computer is worth someone else's life. Everything I own is worth someone else's life because guess what? That's my fucking property. They don't have a right to it.
Ignorant.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's what they think. They don't think that the gun is worth someone else's life. They think they don't want to get their life taken by a home invasion.
Yeah.
Which does happen.
Did you see that video of the guy that had a raccoon on his boat? If you have.
This is insane. There was a guy in Canada fairly recently. This happened within the last year. 4 men broke into his home. They not only had firearms, but they also had rope, duct tape, and I think they were also carrying plastic bags. And that guy grabbed a shotgun, shot one of the intruders, killed him, and then the rest of them left. Like, I mean, you think the ideal scenario would have been to let those fucking people break in and do who the fuck knows what? Like, they probably had an intention of executing him.
Have a gun. You're not very intelligent.
Fucking, Cheech. Or no, Tommy Chong. He's a fucking moron. Dude, these anti-gun fucking lunatics are just such pussies. Man shoots YouTube prankster, jury acquits. Fucking based.
He is so lucky that the guy didn't die. This is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Away to Remote Medical Records, just about everything. With that said, Alan Coley was in a mall in Virginia, and he is just minding his own business. I think he was like a DoorDasher or, one of the food delivery drivers. And, he gets, it's a deal with the public, and he's got a concealed carry. And while he's in the mall, this dickhead, Tanner Cook, who's got his own YouTube streamer business called Classified Goon, decides to fuck with him and decides to mess with him. He decides to harass him. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to watch this video and break it down. Because he went to trial, and we'll talk about that on the other side. And this is a good exercise in what to do and not do. And what are you allowed to do with a firearm? What you're not allowed to do. What? So first of all, you see this guy, he's like 6'5", this Tanner Cook. And Coley is just picking up an order, and he's not bothering anybody.
What's that mean?
The two of them are confronting him, but they're not having any lethal force, right?
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Quit thinking about my twinkle. Now, I know.
If somebody did this to me, I would think they're crazy, and if they were talking aggressively, I'd probably punch them in the face.
we're funny guys, because we're in the mall and, we want to get noticed on YouTube and fucking give me a break. Come on. You can carry things a little too far sometimes. And you see that all the time.
No.
Dude, if somebody did that to me, I'd probably attack them before they attack me.
He's asking him several times to leave him alone. And this 21-year-old...
They totally deserve to get shot.
Cook is not leaving him alone. Where I've stopped it here, you can see he's trying to push the phone away, and Cook, Mr. Goon, continues to encroach.
Why did that not... That's weird. That should have given me a notification or a text-to-speech. Give me a second. Yeah, Natalie agreed to debate me. She said she's busy, but she can do the debate in November. Ugh, goddamn, dude.
You dated 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 that you dated 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 you did at.
Well, thank you for that, Cortez. Appreciate the donation and spam, sir.
Dude, I'm like 99% sure that Hunter Avallone quit veganism. He gets all weird when people bring it up and dodges debates on it. Can you challenge him to a bare knuckles boxing match?
I don't think he would accept that challenge. Maybe he'd accept, I don't know, a challenge on whose wife can bang more black dudes. I think he'd win. Though. Yeah, he's certainly not vegan anymore. I think he knows he's doing something wrong, which is why he's being super evasive. But yeah, he's not vegan anymore. I remember he made a statement saying people shouldn't be forced to be vegan, and he wouldn't respond to me at all. So yeah, he's not vegan. He's probably eating meat or animal products again. Maybe at best he's vegetarian. But thanks for the donation, Fad Fudge. Appreciate it. Oh, I have a sweet little kitty here. Prismo is so handsome and he's so sweet. Love how cuddly you are. You're so cuddly. You're so cuddly and I love you. Callus donated $2. An issue with abortion/egg industry analogy is that eggs are a product that need to be replenished, whereas abortions are a service. Even if someone did an unethical abortion, this doesn't beget another unethical abortion. Well, yeah. I think I made that point when I was arguing with them on the Crucible, saying that when you're buying an egg, you're paying for that abuse. When you're, paying for an abortion, you're paying for whatever service is going to be rendered to you personally. It doesn't mean another unethical abortion is going to happen. Their argument is, regardless, at some point an unethical abortion is going to be committed, and that somehow subsidizes the next unethical abortion. And I just simply wasn't convinced of that, for one thing. And even if that were true, I'm not so sure if I even have a problem with somebody getting an ethical abortion, even if it increased the likelihood of a unethical abortion from happening. Because I think you have a right to an ethical abortion. I think that should be a right. So just because somebody else is going to, say, do something unethical with a service, it doesn't mean that service should be illegal to those who want an ethical abortion. Like, the issue would be regulation and shit like that. But thanks for the donation, Callus.
Approach on him.
Stop.
Stop. Now he's getting angry. But look, he's going for his gun. Boom. Well, just like that. Honestly,
that guy was not expecting to get shot that day. That is hilarious. Thank you for that, Cortez. Excellent spam. Appreciate the donation, sir. I gotta see that again.
Cook, Mr. Goon. Stop. Now he's
There we go. There's the gun.
getting angry. But look, he's going for his gun. Boom. Well, just like that. Honestly, how fucking stupid.
Dude, like, these fucking pranksters are so dumb. Like, you live in the United States where people can fucking carry. Like, it's a bit of a... It's enough of a risk in Canada, but, like, why the fuck would you do this in the States?
On both of their parts. Now, let's talk about self-defense. So he just whips the gun out and he so coldly shoots him. That's just so cold. I have never seen anything like that. That's
It's not cold at all.
Maui 5 years ago. He was cute.
I think he is still cute.
I love you, my little
Oh my god, he's still
orange
orange too.
nugget. I want you near to me.
It's funny how he rolls when you sing to him.
My baby, my orange, my sweetness, my joy. I love you, my little boy. Oh, my nugget.
That is a very handsome orange kitty. Thanks for the donation, Ethan, now. Appreciate it. Yeah, like, from the dude's perspective, this guy is way bigger than him. He's 6'5", and he's probably like 5'8", or if not shorter. So there's like a foot difference in height. The guy's way bigger. He's being super aggressive and harassing him, told him to stop multiple times, and he also seems mentally deranged. Like he's playing this thing on his phone saying, my twinkle, my twinkle. Like, I think it was totally reasonable for him to have shot that guy.
I feel like EDP445 is gonna dodge prison again. Which is really gonna piss a lot of people off. Including me. Somebody is gonna end up hurting this fat bitch. Also, the Sting video got leaked yesterday. It was disappointing and overhyped.
Yeah, I saw people were uploading it to YouTube, but everybody who uploads it gets their channel taken down, like they get a strike, so I'm not gonna watch it on stream. I still haven't seen it. Since it's disappointing and overhyped, I'm not gonna bother watching it then. I would have expected that because EDP's he's been through this before, probably knows how to react to it. Yeah, there's a very high likelihood that there's going to be some vigilante that tracks him down and either beats the shit out of him or kills him. I'm sure he's aware that that's a genuine possibility. So yeah, if the legal system doesn't take care of him, in all likelihood someone else will. Which is why he probably should get locked up. But thanks for the donation, Killing Titan. Appreciate it.
Watch it again, but we're going to watch it quickly, just in real time. I hate that phrase, real time. Well, we'll just watch it through.
What? Quit thinking about my twinkle.
What's that?
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
No.
Quit thinking about my Get out of my face and call cops on me. Stop. Stop.
Oh, that is so great. I like, especially considering he only shot once and it didn't seem like he intended for it to be a lethal shot. I think that guy should have been acquitted, not being charged.
Pulled that gun really fucking fast. I mean, he didn't hesitate to shoot it. I think I would have told him, I'm going to shoot you if you don't leave me alone. Probably would have left him alone. Okay, so let's talk about self-defense. What is self-defense? First of all, self-defense is an affirmative defense. What's an affirmative?
FDTOA 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 FDTOA, 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 FDTE, TOFT, 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 TOEO.
Thank you for that, Cortez. Excellent spam. Appreciate that donation. Even if the supposed victim were to sue civilly, even in civil court, I don't think it would rule in favor of him, because he is the one who initiated the situation. He was told multiple times to leave the guy alone and to stop, and he didn't, and he kept harassing him. So even in a civil court, no, there's no way he would get any damages.
Defense. That means that the defendant in a criminal case has the burden to make some showing that there's self-defense. Okay? So that he acted in self-defense. And what do you have to show? Things. One, there's a reasonable belief that the force is justified. I would say, if somebody's harassing you like that, some force is, especially when you ask.
Well, again, like, it's in context. Who the fuck walks up to somebody playing My Little Twinkle on their phone and, like, aggressively coming at, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And somebody who's, like, twice your size. Like, the thought that comes into your head is, like, oh my god, this guy's fucking crazy and he's gonna attack me.
3 times for them to stop, and they're not stopping. The second element that the attack has to be immediate. He really wasn't being attacked, he was being harassed. But one could argue that being harassed is being attacked, but one of the things you have to have while in an attack is whether or not you had a reasonable fear for either great bodily harm or death. To be a threat. And then, the use of deadly force is limited. The election to use deadly force has to be reasonable. So deadly force is not permitted if the individual is threatened with unlawful force. It is only justifiable if the threats involve great bodily injury or death. You can't just, if somebody's bugging the shit out of you, you can't just fucking shoot them. I mean, you have to believe that your life is in danger. Or you're about to suffer some serious injury. And then the amount of force that you use must be reasonable. Now let's break all this down. He approaches him with a cell phone, not a firearm. He's bugging the crap out of him, and he tells him to stop 3 times, and he's still encroaching on him. With another guy, by the way.
It's not just bothering him, he's doing something that makes him seem dangerous and insane. So, yeah, it's a little bit different than bothering somebody.
And what does he do? He whips his gun out and shoots him 1 time. He is so fucking lucky that the guy didn't die. What was he charged with? The first count that he was charged with was aggravated malicious wounding. Kind of a lot to pack in there. Aggravated malicious wounding. And what aggravated malicious wounding occurs when you maliciously wound, and you keep in time the malice. Malice is like you don't really fucking give a shit. You kind of are mean just for the sake of being mean. It means that you have a reckless disregard for life, basically. And so malicious wounding occurs when you maliciously wound, shoots, cuts, or stabs another person, or causes bodily injury by any means, intends to disable, maim.
Gun fanatics don't understand self-defense laws at all. Right, that's why gun owners have no criminal record in order to be able to legally carry, right?
Kill, disfigure, and the victim suffers a serious injury, causing significant impairment, physical impairment. So this guy whips out his fucking gun, and he shoots. Now, is that malicious? Because is that a reckless disregard? Probably not. He didn't win this case on self-defense. I think he probably won this because he was really the one being attacked. And here's the other thing. You can't avail yourself of self-defense if you start the fight. Only if there's a break in it and you retreat, you can reinitiate. In Virginia, if you didn't start the fight, there's no duty to retreat. That means you don't have to turn around and run away and have a duty to retreat. That duty is only, where it's reasonable. He was found guilty of discharging a firearm in an occupied dwelling. And, which I found weird because it's a mall, it's not a dwelling. But, you scare the shit out of people when you fire a gun in a mall. Why is that? Because everybody thinks there's going to be another mass shooting, right? And so Mr. Coley has been sitting.
I don't think he should have been charged with that.
in fucking jail since April.
Did you see Bruce's video from yesterday, where the wife tried poisoning the husband's coffee with bleach? Someone needs to forward that to Sferage's girlfriend so she can perfect the process.
You probably want to use cyanide for something like that. And fairly high dose as well. Cyanide, I think, tastes like almonds. So if you mix that into coffee, I don't think Sverige drinks coffee, though. That's the problem. With the weird shit that he eats, so like, I think he likes drinking blood, raw milk, stuff like that. You could probably hide something like cyanide in that fairly well. So I wouldn't use bleach. In all likelihood, if you put bleach in somebody's coffee, it's not going to kill them. It's going to burn, and it's going to make them feel really sick, but in all likelihood, it's not going to kill them. They'll probably just throw it up. Thanks for the donation, though, Quest. Appreciate it. Gigliardo donated $2. Say with pauses. Oh no. Giggly is gone. He was my best friend. I will never forget you, Gigliardo. Ooga booga. I am well adjusted to my new way of life. I'm trapped. Alright, well thank you, Gigliardo. Appreciate the donation, sir.
Since April. I mean, and he was acquitted of the most serious charge. The malicious wounding charge carries with it a 20 to life sentence. So to that end, he won his case because he beat the top count. And they were hung on for a little while on two of the gun counts. They acquitted him of one, and then they convicted him on discharge of a firearm in an occupied dwelling.
That is so bizarre. You would think getting acquitted on the one count of malicious, like a malicious wounding, would then mean the shooting was justified. Because if you're gonna charge him with something like that, like you shot somebody unjustifiably, then if you're acquitted, that would logically mean you were justified in shooting that person. So if you're justified in shooting the person, then how the fuck could you get charged with discharge of a firearm in a dwelling? That makes no sense.
Just when you think scum like conservatives cannot possibly get any worse, they do something like that ban of gay characters in Florida.
I would not be surprised if it gets worse. Like, again, they're slowly getting more and more emboldened to make crazier and crazier laws. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pass a law where you can't publicly state that you're gay or something. or you can't have a certain job, like be a teacher if you're gay. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next thing to happen. But thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, Florida's fucked.
Which nowhere near as serious as the malicious wounding charge. Let's just posit a scenario. So you've got Mr. YouTube, crazy Mr. fucking YouTube guy, and he's going to, harass whoever he's going to harass. And he fucked around and he found out. And this brings up another issue about concealed carry, because this guy did have a concealed carry, but concealed carry doesn't mean you can just do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want. What would have happened if Mr. Coley would have just, put the gun in his face, or just held the gun out and said, back off or I'm going to fucking shoot you? That probably would have been enough. But he didn't.
I don't know why that didn't... I'll play the notification again and see if it does the speech thing. Thanks for the donation, though, Cortez. Yeah, so the issue is he thought he was in imminent danger because a crazy person was coming after him. He's not the one who instigated the fucking situation. Like, I think he's well within his right to do what he did.
Didn't even fucking wait 2 seconds. Boom! That's how quickly he did.
The guy was right next to him, twice his fucking size. Like, you're really gonna, expect him to pull a gun out, threaten him, and hope that he doesn't try to charge an attack and take the gun.
Did that. That was shocking. That was absolutely shocking. Here, let's just watch it again real quick and just see that, or at least that part of it, because it is so quick.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
No.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Get out of my face and call cops on it. Stop.
Stop.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Stop.
Told him to stop, told him to get away multiple fucking times, kept coming at him. I think he's well within his right to have shot that dude. Yeah, he shot a prankster.
That's within 17.
I think he was well within his right to do that. Thank you for that, Cortez, and appreciate the donation again. You think a mall is high risk. Okay, so you don't have a right to defend yourself at a mall?
Fucking seconds that he shoots him. 17 seconds is all.
If that happens, then Amracia will basically go back to the 1940s.
I think for one thing, that's going to be challenged in court, and if they do things like make it illegal for a gay person to hold certain jobs, that will certainly be challenged in court. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
You just picking up a food order. What if you're one of his kids and you wouldn't pick up your room? No, I'm kidding. This does raise a whole issue about concealed carry. The concealed carry movement is strong in every state in the country, okay? If you have a concealed carry permit, it does not authorize you to whip that gun and use it whenever the hell you want.
He didn't use it whenever the hell he wanted. Look, the only reason he shot the guy because he thought he was in danger, and I think he had a reasonable expectation or reasonable belief that he was in danger. He clearly didn't maliciously shoot the guy because he did try to de-escalate. He did try to walk away. When he kept being pursued and the guy wouldn't stop, that's when he pulled out his gun. And he only shot once. And he clearly also didn't aim for any vitals. It looks like the guy was shot in his stomach. So it's not like the guy tried to aim for his chest or his head. So this guy didn't seem to be out to maliciously hurt anybody. He was just trying to defend himself.
Doesn't. There are restrictions. There are very definite restrictions when...
Okay, bro, if somebody like me, who is like a foot taller than somebody else, goes up and starts playing My Twinkle on my phone, and I started swearing at somebody, like stalking them and following them, saying, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?" Like, do you really think somebody should have the expectation, "Oh, it's just a cell phone, what's the danger?" Like, no, you're gonna think I'm a fucking crazy person who's about to attack you. And when someone's twice your fucking size, like, yeah, somebody like me could fuck you up. Like, I could kill somebody if I were to hit them hard enough.
And how you hear that old phrase, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know what that means, right? And you'd rather have a jury trial on the issue rather than, have a funeral. And I have seen it over and over and over again, people making the wrong, well, if they're seeing me, they've made the wrong choice, or it's gotten really serious. So I see it over and over again where you have firearms are involved, people have a concealed carry permit.
Yay! Oh, a 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 oh,
Thank you for that. Appreciate the donation, Cortez.
And they think they can just use it whenever they want. I had a case where one time my client was in the basement of his mother-in-law's house. He and his significant other, they weren't married, but they were kind of, together, or they were together with kids and stuff. But they had moved here from California, displaced her brother. Her brother had to go get an apartment because they were going to live there and try to save some money. And her brother fucking hated him. Just hated him. My client was in the basement, and they had a bedroom down there and stuff. But the brother had a bunch of his belongings still down there, and he didn't give a shit when he went down there or what he did. So he goes down there ostensibly to get a board game. And fuck you, they're yelling back and forth. So my client goes back to his bedroom, and he goes and grabs a gun like this.
Have you seen the studies that Asian guys have to make 200k to be considered as attractive as a white guy? What do you think is the solution to this? Should we ban interracial marriages? Or send money to Asian incels?
No. So if you look at studies on subjective ratings of attractiveness, you're going to see weird skews like that, where you might have a lineup of men. They might be from different races, different cultures. They might be different heights. They might have like different amounts of muscularity. They make different money. And you ask women to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 how attractive they are. You're going to see like weird skews like that, where an Asian guy has to make 200k to be considered as attractive as a white guy who makes like 60k, or a man who's 5'5" needs to make like at least a 6-figure salary to be considered as attractive as somebody who's 6 foot. You can't really rely on that, because I think women especially, they say like the most stupid shit when it comes to their dating preferences. Oh, I'd never date a guy who's under 6 feet. Okay, maybe I would if he makes $1 million. Like, you always hear the stupidest shit come out of women's mouth when it comes to shit like that. When you actually look at the real world and how women will, choose who they date, you're not going to see massive skews like that, because when you're actually dating and you're not just rating people based on like cold, hard, objective numbers on how much money they make and what height they are, and you actually get to know the person, women will be like, okay, well, he's shorter than I'd like, but he's also really nice and he treats me well, so I'll date him, so I wouldn't really care about metrics like that unless you actually look at real outcome data, so like speed dating studies where people actually get to talk to one another, and you see people either agree or disagree to go out on a date, and not just, again, subjective ratings of attractiveness. But thanks for the donation, Asian Incel. Yeah, and women date ugly dudes all the time.
Spam is slacking tonight. This is how you do it. Harder. You. Harder. You. Harder. You. Harder. You. See? It needs a good rhythm. Nice ASMR spam harder. You. Looking good BTW Richard, looking lean. But you look good thick boy mode too.
Well, thank you, Lionheart. Thank you for the spam and the flattering words. Appreciate the donation, dude. I actually uploaded a physique update on my OnlyFans. I'll show you guys. Give me a second here. I'll give you a free preview. So there's the physique update from my OnlyFans. Did a most muscular pose. I think I'm looking pretty jacked. The traps are looking nice, and the chest is looking nice and thick. But, yeah. I think I have roughly 20 pounds to go. 243 right now. I think if I get down to like 220, I'll be where I want to be in terms of leanness.
And he holds it down like this, and he goes, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Shoot me?" And he starts going after it. Now, my client had a neck injury that he had a work comp case, and he was really worried that if he was attacked, he could break his neck. And so he comes and starts walking after him. Boom! Shoots him in the leg. Okay, well, that's assault with a deadly weapon. But is there self-defense in that scenario? You're in your home. There's a thing called the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine means you don't have to retreat in your home, and as long as you reasonably believe a felony is about to be committed, you can use deadly force to prevent that felony. And the felony here was a felony assault against himself. People think so many different things about guns. People have strong reactions both ways. And this case
There's no fucking way I'm shaving off my body hair.
Had was...
What am I benching now? I'm not at my strongest. Like, my max right now is probably around 330, 340. I ended off the mezzo doing 280 for a set of 8. Like, I tore my tricep. That's why my bench is down. It's not because of the diet that my bench is down. It's because of my tricep.
Just an example of that. Now, I made the mistake of leaving a firefighter, high-powered lawyer, and former federal law clerk, this is all one person, by the way, on the jury. And
what do I do to train traps? So I do barbell shrugs. I don't use super heavy weight. I do lighter weight, and I hold the weight at the top and then really slowly go down and really deliberately try to sink my shoulders down as low as I can so I get a really high degree of stretch in my traps. And I also do upright rows. Upright rows, I think, are really good for trap development, and overhead pressing actually also trains your traps. A lot of people don't know that, but overhead press is good for trap development too.
And at the time he was the chief judge, it was her former clerk, and so I didn't really want to upset that apple cart, and I figured, this is a fairly simple case, and she turned out to be the foreperson and fucked me. And it happens every time I have a lawyer on the jury, for whatever reason. I'm never leaving another lawyer on the jury. However, the prosecutor...
I'm 6'3".
Made the mistake of leaving an NRA member who drew down on a cop who was on his property who didn't announce himself with a shotgun and is unapologetic for it. And his line in the jury room is, "Fuck the law, he's not guilty." So they wound up being a hung jury. So you've got really, really strong opinions about guns on both sides. And so this is in Virginia, and, you know, probably more of a pro-Second Amendment state, probably more of a red state than a blue state. When you have a concealed carry, you have to be really, really careful, because you can't just brandish it. You can't just use it willy-nilly. You know, in that case I just talked to you about.
Funny boxer.
Let me take a look. Oh, this guy. Yeah. He ended up not really doing well because he didn't take training seriously. Yeah, I know who he is. He really got fucked up in his later career. He just got outclassed. Like most of these fights where he did really well, he was just fighting people who were lower tier. Once he actually started fighting like really good pros, he just got fucked up. But thanks for that donation, Sedge.
The judge in that case said you could try this case 15 times and get 5 hung juries, 5 acquittals, and 5 guilty verdicts.
Gonna get it checked out by a doctor, but is there a reason why my traps are so huge despite never working them out? Some people just have muscles that are well developed without training.
We wound up settling the case for a misdemeanor, which is what I offered all along, and he didn't go to jail. So that's also the benefit of hindsight, because you try a case, and even if you get a hung jury, like last week I got a hung jury, I've had
Like Huntsley, these conservative fuckwads need to be thrown out of office before they destroyed the country.
Yeah, they do. They are destroying the country. Like, again, there's another shutdown coming. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
like 4 of them in my career, and they're not pleasant to get, but they do tenderize the prosecutorial meat, as it were. And what that means is they look at their case differently. You know, if all of a sudden it's 7 not guilties and 5 guilties, they're not as apt to either retry it or offer you a better deal because they think they might lose the case. In his own video, if you look at the top comments, justice is served, the victim has been acquitted, time to make sure Cook is charged and sentenced for harassment. Keep going so we all get the sequel and see what we all want to see. I'm glad that man was armed. He exercised his right as an American citizen. See what I'm saying? People have strong views. And
fucking base, dude.
That right there is not the law. You don't have the right to just fucking blow somebody away. Even if they're bugging you. You have to...
He's not proving me wrong. Some of this is a matter of opinion, but... Like, again, I think the relevant facts of the case show that the guy was within his right to defend himself.
Reasonably fear for your life. I mean...
Gigliardo donated $2. Video 5 is live. Let's take a look.
Previously on this stupid fucking show. Map to VG's location. Don't worry, VG, Gig will save you.
Oh no, why did I give him directions to my lair? I threw a rock at you and now I am running away.
I'm a hockey pro. Oh no.
Looks like this is the end for Gig. Goodbye, VG. Oh no.
Where the hell am I? Giggly is gone. He was my best friend. I will never forget you, Gigliardo. Ooga booga. I am well adjusted to my new way of life. I'm trapped. Yeah, those are great. And you've also made me want to do another test drive in my favorite car. I think when I get an Ariel Atom, I'd prefer purple. Either that or green. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Wait, this looks different. What the fuck? Okay. Let's just do a quick little run. Dodo Nutellers react to this. Let me see.
Members of Gen Z are so starved for human connection and companionship that they have now started spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in order to engage in various hobbies and make new friends. This is a super interesting story. And to be honest, they have the resources to do what some of the people we're gonna profile here are doing. I think it's the right move. I think there are
Shutdown temporarily averted. McCarthy drew up last-minute bills similar to Senate's proposal to extend budget for 45 days while details are ironed out. Despite cutting out guaranteed Ukraine aid, McCarthy still may get vacated by his far right for caving.
Hopefully that happens. McCarthy is fucking just a piece of shit. But that's good. Thanks for the donation, Caleb.
Many benefits aside from making new friends and finding human connection. But before we get to those pricey social gatherings, we do need to make clear that Gen Z really does have a problem with loneliness. I think it's a growing issue we should take seriously. So Insider was given access to a survey conducted by Harvard, which isolation can be as dangerous as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day and contributes to, and that's according to the US Surgeon General. New people. Ban estimates she spends at least $500 a month on various memberships and events aimed at making friends and maintaining connections. That includes a $2,500 annual membership to the social club Soho House and a $500 annual fee for the gym program ClassPass. That's on top of hundreds a month on lunches and dinners out.
You do not need to spend that kind of money to find a friend.
I think a lot of people can relate to spending some money on social activities like going out with friends and stuff, so that's totally fine. I don't know if you want to.
Bro, just go to like the beach or something and try to get into a volleyball game or something. Like, why the fuck do you have to spend that kind of money to find a friend?
Make friends at Soho House. I personally
Dude,
wouldn't,
that's
but
fucking
to
weird.
each his own.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
I
but
don't even know what the Soho House is. That sounds like some kind of club, but yeah, that's fucking stupid, dude. All right, let's do a quick little drive here. Oh wait, I think I turned VR off. There we go. There we are. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see. Oh shit, oh my god. Ah, fuck. Son of a bitch. Fuck, dude. Not having a fucking H shifter is I think that'll be that. Ugh. Hopefully I don't drive that badly in real life, but yeah, I still don't have my steering wheel, so it's really fucking hard to control that game with just a controller. So don't tell me I'm bad at driving, okay? I'm using stupid ass fucking controller. Let's see, Andrew.
Do you think you can take Ronnie from Jersey Shore in a fight?
What?
I'm alright, thank you.
Facts straight, bro. Get your fucking facts
Guys
straight.
are like 30 years old. Stop. You're
Getting assaulted would be a fantastic punchline for this joke.
I will take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, TT.
better than that. Stop.
So first of all, yeah, I think I can take this guy in a fight.
You are some fucking shit. Like, I could think my grandma.
You fucking need this shit. Come at me, bro. Come at me. I'm ready. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck. You fucking mother.
Like, he's clearly way bigger and stronger than this guy. I don't know why that dude tried to start a fight. But yeah, I could take this guy on in a fight. Thanks for the nation, Andrew.
Just a little before M. Don't have to finish love, Richie.
Let me take a look. Oh, I like trains.
You feel me? Devil music. This don't sound too evil, don't it? The battlegrounds are never
fuck are
found. The
those
silence
earrings?
down. Wanna leave to come around. You never scared, you never found. You riding around with the chopper in the back seat. Money in the back seat. Thoughts on our mind. Let these niggas know that it's not sweet. Gats in our hand to show these suckers who done got me. Why you play Lil B? Now you finna go to sleep. Guaranteed he payback. Remember me from way back. Yeah, summer here, cat. I never thought I would go back. Yeah. Chest arm, right arm, left arm, neck gone. In the conflict, John spit. Play me like a fool again. Or show. Red Flame, devil music. Let's.
Yeah, not the greatest, but funny either way. Thanks for that donation, Saggy. Appreciate it.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Let me just take a
Stop.
picture.
Stop.
Stop. Ow! Sneako!
In public.
Nah, you're Sneako!
No, this is not okay. I told her not to do that. That's my girl. It's fake, bro. It's fake, bro. It's fake, bro. Now this is a real one.
So nice! Oh my god!
He was about to swing on me right there. He was about to swing on me. I saw that fist coming up.
Fuck yeah, you guys are so
That was yo, did you see his fist punch? Hey, come on. Hey, respect it.
He deserves to get beaten. That would have been a good punchline to the joke. Thanks for the nation, though, TT. Let's see, Mike Donatello's Ben Shapiro versus Pearl.
Well, folks, there's something called the Red Pill Movement. It's sort of a...
We'll react to that right now. Just gotta go take a piss. I'll be right back.
far-right movement that focuses in on saying the unsayable, and now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married. A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
It is bad to get married. At least if you're a man, in most circumstances. There are zero benefits and only downsides. So why would you get married?
It's really interesting. So there are a bunch of people on the so-called red-pilled right who have now suggested that marriage is bad for men, that men should not get married. Now, the case that they're making is not the liberal feminist case that basically men are useless and terrible and a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle or anything like that. The case that they are making is that the stakes of marriage have been changed by things like no-fault divorce, custody arrangements, the child support payments and all the rest, spousal support, that basically the legal regimen has made it not a bargain for men to get married. Now, I agree with the critique of all of those policies. I think no-fault divorce is a disaster area. I think that the child custody arrangements that basically always...
No-fault divorce is a disaster? Like, I mean, if you don't want to be with somebody, you should be allowed to not be with the person.
Go to mom no matter what. That is a serious problem. When you shift the incentive structure, there's a reason why the majority of divorces, the vast majority of divorces, are now initiated by women. That is not...
Yeah, what does that tell you? It means, in all likelihood, divorce disproportionately benefits women. If women wouldn't get money from divorce, they wouldn't divorce at a higher fucking rate. If you look at non-marital relationships, it's an even 50-50 split. About 50% of men initiate breakups, about 50% of women initiate breakups. When it comes to divorce, what's the figure? Like, it's something like 70 or 80% of the divorces are women, and only like 20 to 30% are from men. It's because women disproportionately benefit from divorce. So why the fuck would you encourage anybody to get married?
Not because in the past, women were wildly abused, and today they are wildly liberated. What that really is when you shift the incentive structure, and it turns out that all the risk is now taken by men, women are going to be the ones who actually activate and push that divorce button. However, the red-pilled have taken it one step further, and now they're telling young men, you should not get married. It's too dangerous to get married. Don't get married.
Yeah, it's a massive liability. Why would you? You can literally lose half of your fucking savings if you were to invest in an extremely expensive property or something. So like a house, if you're going to spend $200,000 on a house, you could literally lose your fucking house that you put $200,000 into because of like stupid marriage laws where, oh, well, the house is more the wife's, even though the man paid for it, because she's the one who, arranged all the furniture, made the decor. She spends more time at home because she doesn't fucking work and she's too lazy to actually get a fucking job. So she just sits around sipping wine all day and then waits for the kids to get home from school. Like, it's nuts. Why the fuck would you ever take a risk like that? Auto von Rismark donated $2. Will you make response video to this? Oh yeah, I think I will. Yeah, I've been meaning to. That guy is a fucking moron. Thanks for the donation, Auto.
That's foolish. That's foolish. So let's go through some of these arguments because they become very popular on the right. So let's start with Pearl Davis. So Pearl Davis is an anti-feminist who has become pretty popular these days. A lot of people label her sort of a female Andrew Tate, although without the checkered past. And here is Pearl Davis talking about marriage.
The TradCons, Daily Wire, conservatives are saying that Pearl's just a doom and gloomer who lies about stats, just focuses on the negatives, never the positives, and all the men complaining are just crybabies. And so one day he comes home and he finds out that his wife had called the police on him and told them that the first time they hooked up 10 years ago, he had quote unquote raped her. And the truth of the matter is, when a man has children, they're not his kids. A man has no way to have children and those kids be actually his. They're always hers because the courts give the women custody 90% of the time, and rich men are really the only ones that have the money to fight it and the time. So I ask the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boeing, Matt Walsh, is this just crybabies? Are they just they're crying?
Yeah. Jeff Bezos' wife deserved that $80 billion. Yeah, really. That is so fucked, eh?
baby, weak men who don't man up and want to risk that. So, you know, it's interesting because instead of demanding that the laws change and demanding women face repercussions for doing this stuff, you guys demand that men need to step up and take part in a system that discriminates against them. You say, oh, find a girl that prays, she won't do it. And I had this thought too, until I found a Muslim girl that did the same thing. I found a Christian girl that did the same thing. I found a Catholic girl. It's happening all over. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is happening. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your church. This happens everywhere.
Okay, so the argument that she's making against it, all these marital policies, those are correct arguments, and nobody is disregarding the pain of men who have been wrongfully victimized.
Then why are you supporting marriage? Like if he's going to support marriage, what he should do is say, make sure you have an airtight, super good prenup. Like make sure you talk to a good lawyer and make sure like your prenup is airtight so you can't get taken advantage of. But even then, prenuptial agreements can be invalidated. So one example is if she claims she signed it under duress. So if you're in a situation where the wedding is like, say, 2 months away, you've already like spent all the money on, you know, planning the venue, inviting guests, all the shit, selecting your dress, crap like that. And then 2 months out, the dude says, okay, I'm not getting married unless you sign this prenup. You could say that's a situation where you had to sign under duress because you were pressured. That can invalidate a prenup. Things like infidelity. So you could say, like she could say, oh, well, the only reason I signed the prenup is because I thought like he was going to be faithful or something. And if she's able to prove like infidelity or something, then that can invalidate a prenup. Like there's a number of things that can invalidate a prenup, so they're not always airtight. Just because you sign a prenup, it doesn't protect you. And again, like, what's the fucking point of getting married? Like, if you think God exists and the only way to have like a relationship that's validated is through religion, like, you're fucking retarded. You're just such a stupid motherfucker that you think you have to get married for religious reasons. Like, I'm sorry, there's no help for you. You're fucking dumb. God doesn't exist. Even if he did, why the fuck would he care if you have a ring on your finger? Like, it's just stupid. So why would you take the fucking risk? Doesn't make any fucking sense. No, I did not see Avi's response to Natalie. I don't know if he made a video.
Let's say hypothetically that EDP 445 made a genuine apology and he actually felt remorseful for what he had done, and turned his life around. Should he be forgiven to some extent? Also Zerka boxing match.
He couldn't possibly make a genuine apology video. He already made an apology video and he ended up, again, lying about it. He's never going to apologize. Any apology he does make it's not genuine, so he's full of shit. And no, he shouldn't be forgiven, because clearly he's not remorseful. Also, Zerka boxing match. Well, we've already seen this. Old dude. Zerka can't fight. He was fighting a guy who's much smaller than him, and he can't hit hard. Like, he basically pushes his punches. He's not the worst I've ever seen, to be fair. But yeah, the guy, like, can't. Like, this guy is so much smaller than him. Like, he should be on the floor. But, thanks for the donation, Ricardo. Dodo donated $2 Pro-Russian XPM Fico wins Slovak election, needs allies for government. The elections in Russia are a sham, so this doesn't really mean anything. If the FSB has an interest in keeping Putin in power, he's going to stay in power. And let me see. Ukraine soldier gets shot by Russian sniper. Holy shit.
Accurately hit Ukrainian soldier while driving. These Ukrainian soldiers were moving through no man's land when they came under fire from a Russian sniper who was controlling the road from a far distance. We can clearly see that the driver got shot, but was still driving, trying to get out of the danger zone. He was shot in the stomach, where the bulletproof vest stopped the bullet and gave the Ukrainian soldier another chance in life.
Damn, dude. Video unavailable. Obama reveals his retirement plans. Well, thanks anyway, Dodo. Appreciate the donation. Pussy with a Glock donated $2. Nothing graphic appears in this video. Thoughts? Let me see. Man in MAGA hat charged over shooting of indigenous activist at statue protest. Seriously injures one. Let me just go through this. Just to make sure nothing graphic. Okay. So this is the shooter. He clearly didn't have an interest in de-escalating. He attacked them. So he was charging at them. They let him go. Okay, yeah, this guy was just blatantly committing assault with a firearm. That is crazy. Yeah, this guy's an unhinged lunatic. I'm not going to keep playing just to be safe.
Can you give Christy Crown a tool, wrench? Also, can you take Butterbean in a fight?
I mean,
What's the quickest you've not?
Butterbean would be hard to fight. He's a big dude and he's fast. So that'd be fucking hard. It would be hard to fight him. Body shots also wouldn't do much to him. Like, I'd have to aim for the head. So he'd be a hard guy to fight. He's tough.
Ever knocked anyone out?
I hope California state records like 18 seconds, including the.
Yeah, he's fast. And really heavy-handed. He can swing, man. And again, you like body shots aren't going to do much against him because he's so thick.
I think you're gonna do a little box.
So yeah, I don't know if I could take him, man. That'd be a hard fight. But yeah, this guy is a fucking probably a racist lunatic, and he should be in jail for a very long time. There's no way you could consider the shooting justified. So he's the one who actually instigated the fight and attacked them. They were simply defending themselves and just trying to get the guy away. They pushed him away, let him go, and then he just takes out a gun, says, "Fuck you," and starts shooting. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, you should be put away. Dodo Tillers, that was the election in Slovakia, not Russia, and Slovakia is bordering Ukraine, and where 80% of NATO equipment goes through to get to Ukraine. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So that guy is against... let me read that again then. Give me a second. That is not good. Okay. What is wrong with people? Like, they'd rather have a Russian occupation where they get, like, fucking mass murdered? That is crazy stupid. Okay. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Everybody's a fucking tard.
Under these circumstances where the incentive structure is completely stacked against them. That is true. However, the benefits of marriage are still unbelievable.
There is zero benefit to marriage. Name one. Oh, you're really close and love each other. Oh, okay, you can have that in a non-marital relationship. There's no benefit.
It does matter who you marry. To pretend that there is no difference between
Name one single benefit to getting married. You can't.
the person that you marry, that it's happening with Christians and Muslims, and it's all the same. That's statistically untrue. There are things that you can do to mitigate against the risk of divorce, and the person that you marry is the chief mitigation.
That is insanely stupid. Like, that is the worst argument imaginable. This assumes that everybody who gets married is going to have the capability of marrying the right person, which, like again, if you look at the stats, about 50% of marriages end in divorce. And like, again, look at what happens to men when they get divorced, when they make more money than the woman. Half their shit is gone. They often lose the house. They lose custody of their kids. They have to pay child support, like this and that. Like, why the fuck would you use that as an argument? It's just so stupid. Like, it's blatantly obvious what the stats are, and then you just deny the stats and say, make better decisions. Like, it's fucking retarded.
Truth is that in the Jewish community, we always have a backup plan in the sense that every marital contract is a prenup. Every marital contract is a prenup, right? A Jewish ketubah is a prenup. It guarantees certain levels of spousal support, for example. If you give a get, then it
like, again, prenups aren't always legally airtight, so why would you take the risk?
Makes prior arrangements and all the rest. But one of the throwing out the baby with the bathwater is not the solution. So how about both? How about we revolve?
Okay. Would you be willing to have a debate on the benefits of marriage? I propose that there are no benefits to marriage that you could not get from a committed non-marital relationship. And that marriage is nothing but a liability, especially for men who earn a higher income than their spouse. He's probably not going to see it. Figured I'd leave a comment anyway.
Revise the system of law, but also in the meantime, you do need to find a spouse and get married to her. And if what it requires for you to feel comfortable doing that is to shift away from the state mandated law and toward a contract arrangement, then do that as well, right? We can have churches that sponsor that sort of thing. Because the truth is that those are enforceable contracts in court very often, the pre-custody arrangements and all the rest of that sort of thing. I want to go through some of the stats with regard to the benefits of marriage, because I think that it's also possible to exaggerate how bad things are for men.
Wait, is he saying we should transfer more power to churches when it comes to legal matters like that? That is insane.
That doesn't mean they aren't really bad for men who end up divorced, or that women aren't divorcing men at incredible.
What is the best mic for recording YouTube videos, online podcasts, etc.? Best mic is probably an Sennheiser MK416, which is the mic I have. It's about $1,200 though, so it's expensive. If you want a cheaper option, Audio-Technica AT2020. Don't get the USB version, get the XLR version. So AT2020 is the best value option. I'd say the best audio quality option would be MK416.
Incredibly high rate overall, or the women aren't initiating the vast majority of divorce. Like, again, I agree with many of the critiques of current marital law. I agree with a lot of that stuff.
I only watch Hassan when, like, Destiny or someone talks about him. I don't usually watch him unless, like, somebody sends me a Hassan video to critique.
The problem is that when you take it so far that you say that the solution for men is to not get married, now what you have done is you've created a second order effect where unmarried men become actual menaces. Okay, the reality is that men channel their aggressive drives toward building, or they channel it toward destroying.
What? What sort of fucking argument is this?
And a system in which women are unmarried and men are unmarried. That's something that the left wants. And if you acquiesce in that, then you actually end up destroying the very fundamental basis of society that allows for the...
Can you make an argument that marriage is a fundamental basis for society? Like, what does he even mean by that?
growing and building of a society beyond the leftist principles.
Fucking retarded, dude.
My answer to Pearl is both and. But yes, get married, and also we should work to change those laws. But by the way...
Okay, well, those laws aren't changing anytime soon, so why the fuck would you take the risk of getting married? That's so stupid.
Wait, the way that we date has an effect on how we get married and who we get married to. I mean, when I dated my wife, we went in knowing, as we began to date, that we were not going to sleep together until we were married. We knew for a fact that we were going to have long conversations about things that mattered.
Well, to be fair, I think your wife and you agreed to not sleep together even after you were married, so...
And this is, by the way, the best available data suggests that this is how you end up with a tangible, durable marriage that lasts a very long time, is that everybody has to be committed.
Why is everyone using the Shure SM7B? Probably because it's a good mic. Yeah, so it's like around 400 USD. I think, what's his name? Turkey Tom is using that mic. Yeah, it's probably just a good mic. It might be better than the Audio-Technica AT2020. I'd maybe look at reviews comparing the two. But in terms of just best audio quality, MK416, probably the best mic. But this wouldn't be a bad choice. I'm pretty sure the AT2020 is cheaper, but you still get really good quality.
Today's video is going in. That value, when you put values at the center of dating, that obviously doesn't mean that you're going to be impervious to the possibility of divorce, but it does mean that your chances of divorce are really a lot lower, a lot lower. Now, I don't want to rip on Pearl here, and I don't think I am ripping on Pearl, frankly, but there are a bunch of other people who are making similar claims. So, for example, Brian Atlas was on the Whatever podcast, and here he was talking about marriage.
Would you consider a prenup?
Prenups are regularly thrown out all the time. They're typically non-enforceable, especially the longer the marriage goes on, the less likely they are to be enforced. Men get absolutely destroyed in marriage and in divorce. Financially, when it comes to the kids, women are more likely to get custody. And then also, if you do get a divorce, the financial cost of just getting the attorney, getting all that involved. If it's a contested divorce, you're gonna spend mid 5 figures, 6 figures on attorneys. And you gotta pay for her attorney too. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% if she's college educated. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. You know, you have no fault divorce. So a woman can cheat on you. She can still get half her shit.
Okay, again.
I think in certain states, if you can prove infidelity, it actually makes it so she can't get any money, but that's not always the case.
A lot of what he's saying is true. This
and proving infidelity can be very hard.
On marriage are not completely true. I'll go through those in just 1 second. Again, the rip on the divorce law is a good rip. It is a fine rip. And the answer is not for men to avoid marriage. The answer is for men to...
The answer is clearly for men to avoid marriage. Like... What is easier, for you to completely change the fucking legal system around marriage and divorce, or for you to not get married so that you can protect yourself financially? Like, the answer is obvious. You're not going to change the entire fucking legal structure of marriage and divorce.
To find a good woman to get married to who's committed to values. Yes, of course marriage is a risk. Of course it is. And that risk is disproportionately borne by men at this point. That is true also. But is the reward worth the risk? The answer
The answer is no. You get no benefit from it. There's no benefit you can get from marriage that you couldn't get from a committed non-marital relationship.
In a huge majority of circumstances where both people are committed, like say share Christian values, for example, the risk is worth it. Is the basic principle.
You can share Christian values and not be married.
Again, these arguments are made not just by people like this. Andrew Tate has made the same sorts of
Andrew Tate is a fucking human trafficker. He's a human trafficker. Has like what, 5 or 6 fucking girlfriends? What are you talking about? He's using Andrew Tate as evidence, a human trafficker who like sleeps with tons of different women. This is crazy. Holy fuck.
Shapiro is nothing more than a simp who got married in his early 20s and popped out kids ASAP. He's a total clown in my opinion.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, this guy has no relationship experience, like never fucking dipped it in. Virgin until he was fucking married. He was probably a virgin even after he got married. And like, he's talking about how, oh yeah, you need to get married. Like, he's never even been in a non-marital relationship. So like, how the fuck would he, from his own personal experience, be able to tell you that there are benefits to being married? The only relationship he's like been in long term was a married relationship. It doesn't fucking make any sense. Thanks for that donation though, Unicorn Jizz. Blue Type donated $3. The song sucks, but thanks for the donation, dude.
Arguments. Here's Andrew Tate talking about how men don't benefit from marriage.
I think it's a fantastic environment, and I think in an idealistic world, that's the way it would be. I think the reason it's not happening today is that I don't think many men actually benefit from marriages or relationships anymore. And people are always going to have to require some degree.
Like, think of it too. Women can literally use that as leverage against you. So they know that if you divorce them, they're going to get so much money out of that divorce. So they can use that as leverage to treat you like shit, demand certain things. Oh, buy me a car, buy me this, buy me that. And then if you don't, then okay, well, I guess I'll take half your fucking money then, because you're not giving me what I want. Like, why the fuck would you ever enter a fucking contract like that where somebody would have that much leverage over you? It's stupid.
Incentive. I think that we've set up the world now in a way where men are seen as worker droids. They're expected to go work all day, come home, clean up as well, share the cleaning with the woman, not have no meal prepared for them, not have any authority over the household, and just be a worker droid and be a sad. And I don't think that many people understand that men are intrinsically wired to desire respect amongst our peers and in our environments. This is why CEOs work so hard, because they get respect in their company.
Okay, so again, I don't disagree with much of what he is saying, but the solution...
He's like... It's been 9 minutes, and he hasn't made an argument for why there are even any benefits to being married. He hasn't named one.
Very often with the red pill kind of movement, the diagnosis is correct and the solution is wrong. That happens very, very often.
No, the solution is correct. Don't get fucking married.
In this sort of movement. I want to talk to you about
Fucking
DailyWire's
idiot.
most trusted privacy partner and premier sponsor of this show, ExpressVPN. Internet service provider for years. Beam's top go for sleep. Check out that clip.
Women out earning men have a hard time respecting the men they're with.
That's not true.
That's not true. I read into that data and it explained why. A lot of the time the women reported that they were expected to be in charge of the household duties and still work a job. And they had to...
Oh, come on. What percent of modern women actually cook? I'm just saying this shit's automated nowadays. I mean, you have a washing machine, a dishwasher.
Yeah, but so
Sure,
you have
you can
to
say,
put
but
it in
even
the
at that,
air fryer.
but as much as it's automated, men
on.
still don't do it.
Yeah, still don't do it.
They still don't do it.
I'm-
That's
look at-
that's the issue. Is that one of the
But
big
why?
problems with
That's not a reason
households.
for divorce.
It
chores.
absolutely is a reason.
Chores?
When you
Oh, come
get older and you manage a household on your own, Pearl, you'll see how f***ing annoying it is when you're working and then you come home and everything is f***ed up and horrible and nobody's f***ing cleaning anything. Yeah, that is a totally valid reason for divorce, of course.
Chores to break up a home,
Pearl,
a family.
Have you
kids.
lived in a filthy
If
home
you're-
before? Like,
Like, by the way, she comes from a rich family. She still lives with her parents, and they have a maid that cleans everything.
It's so funny because like lifelong friends from like grade school to high school will dorm in college and then hate each other forever over like bad dorm roommates, and that's not even a relationship. So yeah, of course I think stuff like this is perfectly valid. I think splitting up duties in the household is like one of the most important parts of like a relationship, because it's where you're spending most of the time together. This is why I say, people get triggered when I say it, I don't think you're even dating until you live together, because until you live together you don't really know who the other person's like, and once you start living together and you see what the household duties are like, then you get a feel for what the relationship is.
So what Destiny is saying here is totally crazy, okay? The idea that you get divorced, let's say you have kids, you get divorced because you can't split up who handles the dishwasher is nuts. And comparing...
So I'm going to take a guess and figure that Ben Shapiro hires a maid and they don't do much cleaning on their own. I'm going to take a guess. But like, yeah, that is petty to some extent, but again, if everything's filthy and nobody's fucking helping you clean or take care of the house, that is part of the reason you might get divorced. But even if you think that's unreasonable, you might have married an unreasonable person. So yeah, you might be with a woman who expects you to cook and clean, and then when you don't do that, she divorces you, and then she takes half your fucking money. Like again, what's the protection against that? Nothing. So you have entered into a contract where a woman has leverage over you, and she can tell you, do the dishes, clean, make money. Oh, you don't make enough money. Make sure you get a fucking promotion. I want you to make at least 6 figures per year. Oh, when you come home, make sure you do the dishes. Make sure you fucking clean. Oh, buy me this. Buy me a new car. My car that I have right now, it's kind of old and there's some rust on it. I don't like that. Buy me a new car. And then when you don't want to do any of that because it's unreasonable, oh, well, she gets divorced and now you have to pay her half the fucking money you earned. She might take the house. She could even take your fucking vehicles and other possessions. She might be able to take the television because, oh, she uses it more. So she has more ownership over that than you do. Like, it's stupid. Like, what he's not understanding is somebody can divorce you for any fucking reason, but you're the one who pays for it.
Marriage to roommates, college roommates? Yes, because you don't expect to be roommates with your roommate for the rest of your life and have children with them, generally speaking. A marriage is not supposed to be a contractual arrangement that is purely about who shares household duties. It's supposed to be about building a household. So it's that attitude toward divorce that is making the Red Pill crew basically say, okay, well, if that's your version of marriage, then I'm not in. I agree. If that were my version of marriage, I would not be in. The point that I'm making is that that shouldn't be anybody's version of marriage. Just like the current version of divorce shouldn't be anybody's version of divorce. And I want to give you some stats that demonstrate that not all marriages are created equal. Not all predicates for marriage are the same. So Brad Wilcox, who is a social science scholar on all of this, he has a book called Get Married, and it's all about marriage and divorce. And here are some of the facts in that book that are well substantiated by the data. The number one factor in predicting a high-quality marriage is perceived partner commitment. If you believe that your partner is deeply committed to the marriage, you will be deeply committed to the marriage, which is one of the reasons why it really matters how you date. It really, really matters how you date. So I agree that in a context where you're picking up a girl at a bar and then you live together and then you get married to her, that's a very risky situation. You put yourself in a situation that is very risky, but that is not how I've ever recommended dating. That is not ever how I've recommended getting married. It is all part of a holistic view of how male-female relationships work. If you just take marriage as an institution and you just throw it out there and however you date is supposed to be equivalent, that of course is not true. Women who attend church are 50% less likely to divorce.
What? This is just so ridiculous. So if he's going to claim that relationships like last longer if you get married, then you could use that same argument. Okay, well, just choose a partner better. Like, okay, so just choose a better partner for a non-marital relationship and it'll last just as long.
For example, so when you heard Pearl earlier talk about, for example, I've seen Christian women.
Like, by the way, not everybody's fucking religious who wants to get fucking married or have a long-term relationship. So how the fuck does this work?
I've seen Muslim women. Yes, but the question is likelihood.
Men should get married because marriage is good. Marriage is good because men should get married. Therefore, men should get married. The end.
Yep, that's basically his argument. Marriage good because marriage good. Thanks for the donation, Ben Shapiro.
You can always find somebody in any group who does X, Y, or Z. The question is, how often does that happen? How do you mitigate your risk?
The best way to mitigate risk is to not get married.
As far as the stat that 50% of marriages end in divorce, just about 40% right now of first marriages end in divorce, which is way, way too high. It's also down significantly since the 1980s. But again, it's not equivalent between groups. College-educated parents' risk of divorce has fallen by about 25% since the 1970s. And here's a good stat. Almost 90% of their children for college-educated parents are being raised in married, largely intact families today. So it turns out that there is actually a formula to...
Why would you get married in the first place, even if the risk is lower? There's still a risk. So why would you do that?
A successful marriage. It tends to be conservative, religious, highly educated.
Okay, there's not going to be much overlap here. If you're religious and conservative, you're less likely to have a college degree. So you're like incredibly, like, it's a very narrow, subset of the population you're talking about.
Those would be like the biggest things that are going to affect whether you end up staying married or whether you end up divorced. By the way, another factor that ends up determining whether you stay...
Why would you get married in the first... Like, he still hasn't made an argument for why you'd want to get married.
Married or end up divorced is, again, about the nature of the marriage. Do you have kids? Marriages with kids divorce far less often than marriages without kids.
Okay, so basically, we're supposed to have Band-Aid babies so that our wife doesn't leave us and we have to give up, half our earnings.
In fact, the divorce rate for couples with kids is about 40% lower than the divorce rate for couples without kids, which makes sense because you have less investment. Once you have kids, then actually it damages another party.
Right. So again, we have to just have children just so that we have some sort of Band-Aid to hold the relationship together. Holy fuck, dude.
For you to get divorced over the dishwasher.
It's crazy.
And then somebody else pays for your crimes at that point.
You're the one paying because she's going to end up getting custody and you're going to have to pay child support.
77% of college-educated conservative parents are still in their first marriage. So are 70% of moderates and 68% of liberals.
Can you call back the speech impediment guy from 2 days ago or so? He was on a stream with his friends.
I'd rather not do that because he was annoying as fucking stupid, so yeah, I'd rather not. Thanks for the donation, Andrew.
And again, the number of newly divorced people per 1,000 married Americans has declined pretty...
So he just gave a stat saying about 30% of college graduate and college graduate religious people still with children get divorced. So that's still a huge fucking percentage.
Pretty markedly since the 80s. It was 22.6 in 1980. It is 13.6 today in 2021. As far as the notion that it's damaging financially for men to get married, no, it's damaging for men to get divorced. It's not damaging for men to get married.
Yeah, that's why you want to avoid getting married, because of the risk of divorce. What are you, fucking stupid?
Men in their 30s earn about $95,000. If they're cohabiting, they earn about $68,000. If they're single, they earn about $42,000. The average marriage premium in household assets is more than $290,000 for a stably married man. So, again, I think what people are actually arguing about over here, to be fair to the Red Pill crew, I think what they're actually arguing about is divorce. And so the question is,
you can only get divorced if you're married, you fucking moron! Oh my god, Ben is fucking special. Holy shit. How the fuck is this guy Harvard educated? This is insane. Oh, the problem isn't marriage, the problem is divorce. You can only get divorced if you're married, you fucking idiot. The problem is marriage.
Are you more likely to stay married, or are you more likely to end up in a divorce situation?
Holy shit.
That is a fair question depending on
this guy graduated Harvard. What kind of fucking retards are they letting into this school? Oh my god, did he... was this a fucking diversity thing? Was he able to prove that he's half black or something?
Process that you use for dating. In the cultural milieu.
This is retarded.
In the community where I live, an Orthodox Jewish community, not a lot of divorce. Very, very low divorce rates. Why? Well, because everyone is religiously committed. because everybody goes into marriage believing it is a sacred.
That's not necessarily a good thing. If you're in a bad relationship and you stay in it because of religious motivations, that's not benefiting you. Oh my
bond
God.
that actually matters, because people don't date for sex. People actually date looking forward to the day when they will have kids together, because every family in my neighborhood has 4+ kids.
You can have kids and not get married.
Those are the preconditions. But if the idea here is that your basic binary is, are you going to be married or divorced? Divorced is typically worse than never married. And married is way better than both.
That's not true.
Divorced and never married. And so, yeah, it's a risk. But is it a coin flip? I don't think it's a coin flip. I think it is a decision that you have to make as to what kind of person you wish to date, how you wish to date that person, what kind of relationship you wish to build, and how seriously you take that commitment in the first place.
Like again, so basically he's saying marriage isn't bad. It's just the choices you make in marriage that would lead to a bad outcome. You could say the exact same thing about non-marital relationships. So he's going to pull up stats. Oh, married men live longer. You're more happy or something like that. Like, again, you could say the same thing with non-marital relationships. You can make choices that would give you the same outcomes. So it's just a nonsense argument.
Do the laws need to change? Absolutely, and they need to change. They're garbage. I totally agree with that. It is easy for me.
Okay, so he literally could not make one single argument in favor of marriage, and instead just said get married, even though there's these horrible fucking risks involved. Yeah, what a fuck... Like, he's even getting ratioed in his own comment section. There's so many people who are like, I normally agree with you, but, like, this is a stupid idea. Like, holy fuck, bro. I can't believe that somebody who actually graduated from Harvard is that dumb.
It was brought to you by Cars and Bids, my Ferrari has made in years. It's an extremely limited production supercar with a V12 and a price tag deep into the millions. And today, I'm going to review the Daytona SP3 and show you all of its quirks and features.
I've been sexually attracted to female bodybuilders few years ago. Every time I look at an average woman, they look bland and boring. Do you think I'm weirdo or gay?
You just have your own personal preferences. I'm not usually into bodybuilders, but like, you know, there's girls online who take steroids that aren't like super masculine, like Vladislava Galigan, who are really attractive. So I am into muscular women, just not usually like pro bodybuilder type muscular where they look like men. But thanks for the donation, the Ultimate God Slayer. Appreciate it.
All right, time for the quirks and features of the Daytona SP3, starting with a little overview of exactly what this car is. So, over the last few years, Ferrari has been, well, expanding. They have an SUV now, there's more model lines, there's more cars, they're selling more, you're seeing them around more frequently, and I think there's been some concern that the specialness of the Ferrari brand might start to decrease. So, to remedy that, Ferrari has come out with a series of very special projects. Low production, ultra rare, ultra expensive, exclusive cars called the Icona series, for icon in Italian. Now, the first one was the Monza SP1 and SP2, which I already reviewed. That was a tremendously special car. And now we have this, the Daytona SP3, the latest in Ferrari's Icona product line. And just like the Monza SP1 and SP2, and presumably like future Icona Ferrari models, this car is extremely limited production. Ferrari claims just 599 of these will be built for the entire world. You're not going to be able to get one. But while Ferrari says this is one of their new Icona models, to me, the Daytona SP3 is a supercar. Ferrari's latest top-of-the-line supercar, in the same level as the F40, the F50, the Enzo, and the LaFerrari that came before it, and I'll make my case. For one thing, the Daytona SP3 rides on the LaFerrari chassis. Literally, Ferrari's last supercar now underpins this, which kinda feels like a supercar. Same chassis as the last supercar, so you draw that conclusion. Then there's the price tag. This car starts around $2.2 million before options, which to me...
That is insane. Holy fuck, bro. Man, I wish I had enough money to pay for a car like that. I'd never buy a car like this, but I wish I had the money for one. Fuck me.
Feels like supercar pricing territory. And indeed, this particular car has over $100,000 in options and extras, which I will get to later in this video. But more supercar proof, how about the fact that it's a mid-engine V12, just like the F50, the Enzo, and the LaFerrari. And in fact, the V12 in this car is larger than the V12 in the LaFerrari. LaFerrari had a 6.3-liter V12 that made 790 horsepower. This car borrows its 6.5-liter V12 from the Ferrari 812 Competizione, and it makes about 830 horsepower. In fact, the Daytona SP3 has the most powerful engine that Ferrari has ever installed in any car ever, which also feels very supercar-like. Now, it's important to point out the LaFerrari had more total power because, in addition to its V12, it also had a hybrid system which boosted things to 950 total horsepower. But for some people, that will be an advantage of the Daytona SP3 because even though it's less power, it also doesn't have the complicated hybrid propulsion system.
Yeah, McLaren, Ferrari, all these companies that have made hybrid systems that are, you know, these luxury brands, they all suck ass. Super fucking unreliable. Like Toyota and everything, they've been making hybrid systems forever. All these new hybrid systems in like Ferraris and shit, they're fucking terrible, super unreliable. Batteries fucking explode all the time, and then it costs like $1 million to get fixed.
System that the LaFerrari has, which may cause some reliability issues down the line as the LaFerrari starts to age. This car is just a straight up, naturally aspirated V12 with no hybrid stuff. And in fact, this is purportedly the last V12 powered Ferrari they're going to make. It's hard to believe, but in this age of electrification, smaller engines, emission constraints, apparently this V12 is going away and this car will be the end of the line. Not just a naturally aspirated V12, but apparently the last. And on the subject of the Daytona SP3's supercar status, it's also incredibly fast. 0 to 60 comes in 2.8 seconds, which is unbelievably quick. Not all that surprising considering it's a dual...
So you could either buy a $2.5 million car to go from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, or you could get an Ariel Atom for about 80.
Be honest, you would leave Jasmine for Gigliardo, wouldn't you? Don't lie, Ricard.
No, I wouldn't. But thanks for the donation. Only fags do .cock. Appreciate it, dude. Yeah, so you can get an Ariel Atom for 80 grand. That'll do 0 to 60 in 2.8. Or you could get this car for $2.5 million to get those figures. I'd rather get this. This is just a more fun car, in my opinion. And the maintenance you can actually do on your own, and it won't like fucking annihilate your wallet.
full clutch 7-speed automatic transmission, so lightning quick shifts. But that acceleration time is especially impressive because this car is rear wheel drive, not all wheel drive like so many other modern powerful supercars. This is a naturally aspirated V12 and rear wheel drive. It feels like an old school Ferrari supercar. And that's especially true when you look at it because the design is intended to mimic old school Ferrari supercars. Now, Ferrari says there are design elements from various models in its past in the Daytona SP3, but to me, it most clearly resembles the famous P4 race car, a low-slung, mid-engine crazy thing that raced in the late 1960s. This is sort of a modern reinterpretation, reimagination of the famous P4, and you can see the design elements in a lot of places, like the tightened waistline in the middle of this car, and the rising front fenders similar to the P4, but most importantly, the wraparound windshield situation. Window line and windshield all wraps around, putting the driver in a real bubble-style cockpit.
Dude, imagine if you crack that windshield. I wonder how much it would cost to replace that fucking windshield.
Just like the P4. It's the modern reimagination of that car. Now, on the subject of the Daytona...
Mike Donatellers, mail carriers across the United States, specifically in big cities like Chicago, constantly get robbed and have been shot and killed in a few instances by the company. USPS doesn't allow them to carry guns. Would you say this is a human rights violation? Yeah. That is a rights violation. Any job that you perform, you should be able to conceal carry if it's illegal in your state. So I consider that a rights violation. Thanks for the donation, Mike.
How would you go about programming accessory work for arms, shoulders, side and rear, traps, etc. when doing an upper-lower split, cause it feels like my upper days get dragged out insanely long to get 10 sets / week for biceps / triceps / side delt / rear delt.
If you have a problem adding in those accessories for your arms, or traps or shoulders or triceps, just do them on separate days or do 2 sessions in one day. So go in the morning, do your like chest and shoulder workout, and then go in later and then train triceps. Same with like if you have a back day, say you would normally train your back, biceps, just go in, train your back, and then later in the day train your biceps, or just do them on separate days. So, if you have like an upper-lower split, you can train like upper, lower, and then train your arms like a 3rd day. Something like that. So yeah, that's really the solution. You're going to get to a point where you have to do so much volume across your entire body when you're training that it's not really realistic to finish all the work you have to do in one day in a single session. So either split up your routine where you do train those muscle groups on their own separate day so you can get the adequate volume in, or just do 2 sessions where you train for like an hour, hour and a half, then you go home, rest, do whatever you do, and then go in again, and then train like your arms for like another hour. Thanks for the donation though, Ariel Adam. Appreciate it.
Daytona SP3's design, I must say, this car has been a bit controversial. It's certainly striking, but some people love it and some people hate it. I personally am in the love it camp. I think this is a absolutely gorgeous design and a beautiful car. Incredibly striking, unbelievably head-turning, but the lines, the surfaces, the curves, it's amazing to me. I think Ferrari's design has generally not gone in the best direction since they parted ways with Pininfarina more than 10 years ago, but this car brings it back. It's beautiful in my eyes, completely crazy, concept car-like. I think it's tremendously special. And in my mind, this is the most beautiful Ferrari
I think it would look better in red. Not really digging the bluish purple
they've released since the 458 first came out almost 15 years ago. It is
Yeah, that car definitely looks way better in red.
is a great design. So moving on from the car overview and the design overview, let's talk quirks and features, starting with the key, which is this. You're thinking this is just a Ferrari logo, but it is the key. You flip it over and you can see a leather pad with some buttons on it. Really just button pads, one for lock and one for unlock. And then at the bottom it says Daytona SP3. This is a new way of Ferrari doing keys. The Ferrari logo on one side and then this leather button pad on the other. Very classy, very beautiful, although you'll notice it doesn't have a hoop for you to stick it on your keychain, and that's because this is a Ferrari. It doesn't belong on the same keychain as other boring cars. This is special.
One thing the red pill gets right is tattoos and overly dyed hair. I have never met a woman who has a lot of tattoos or some crazy hair color who isn't batshit insane. Most of the red pill is dumb though.
I've seen plenty of women with tattoos and dyed hair that are not crazy, but thanks for the donation, Red Pill.
But next you go to get in the car. You can see the door is absolutely bizarre in its design. The door handle is down here. You got to reach all the way down here. You put your hand in here, lift up, and then the door comes up like a supercar door should. No regular side opening doors here. Now you might be wondering, why is the door handle mounted so low? And that's because they have to mount it below the air intake, which is positioned in the front part of the door. You never really see that. Some supercars with an engine in the back have an air intake in the door, but usually the back of the door, since that's closer to the engine. Not here. This one is in the front, and this air intake actually links to a tube that connects all the way to the engine and delivers air to this engine through the intake at the front of the door. So it's very odd. The door handle is at the bottom in the back where the air intake usually is, and the air intake is switched. Window and get into this car reminds me actually of old school Ferrari supercars that were much harder to get in. Now, one of the reasons it's kind of difficult to get in this car is because the doors don't really open that far, and that's because they have to stop short of hitting the exterior rear view mirrors, which are mounted on the fenders. You can see the door just stops right before hitting it. It opens as far as it possibly can, but that's not really all that far, and it makes it kind of hard to get in. Now, on the subject of those fender mirrors, when you're looking for them, you really see them sitting there. But next up, on the subject of the steering wheel, which moves, it also does a lot of other stuff. There's a lot to unpack here. You climb inside, and the engine start-stop button is actually on a screen mounted below the center of the steering wheel. You push that, and that turns on the car. Forget sticking in a physical key and twisting it or pushing a big red physical button. Now you're tapping a screen to start a V12. And there's more interesting stuff on this steering wheel. The little red switch next to the start-stop button changes the drive mode. You can switch between wet, sport, race, and then two settings that turn off traction control and stability control, which gets things kind of dangerous. The steering wheel also has a lot of other controls. You can see the wipers over on the right side. On the left, you have the headlights, or at least the brights. You also have your turn signals mounted on the steering wheel. You can push them from the front or from the back.
That's a nice design.
Whatever's easier, obviously right on the right side and left on the left side. And there are stereo controls on the back side of the steering wheel. On the left, you have a wheel that adjusts your stereo volume, and on the right, you have a switch that adjusts your stereo track or your music track that you're listening to. But the most interesting thing about the steering wheel, these screens that come off the spokes, the center of the wheel, these are touch screens. You tap on them to control the gauge cluster, which serves as the infotainment screen in this car. There's no center screen that you can touch and adjust. The passenger doesn't have access to anything. It's all controlled and showing what's behind you. That's not all that unusual. A lot of cars are switching to camera screen rear view mirrors. The funny part is what happens when you flip the switch in the center. In most cars, that changes it. All right, driving the SP3, which is just one of the coolest damn cars that exists today. This is so exciting for me. I love the LaFerrari. I think that's an amazing car, but to me, this is cooler. It may not be a Ferrari supercar in Ferrari's eyes, but in my eyes, you get an even more powerful V12 without the hybrid stuff. It's incredibly fast. It looks insane. Production is even less than LaFerrari. This is a really, really special car. Now, getting inside, one of the first things I notice is I don't fit all that well in here. My knees are right up against the lower part of the dashboard, under the steering wheel. It is tight in here. My head is right up against the ceiling if I sit up. It is tight in here. And the cool thing about that is that's also kind of a throwback to old school Ferraris. You almost have a sense of like nostalgia. I've driven so many older 70s and 80s Ferraris, and it's always like this. It's always like difficult to climb inside and fold yourself in and then sit here and there's never enough room. But Ferraris over the years have become soft and easy to get inside. Not this car, no. Okay, so what's it like to drive? Well, I gotta say, first thing, looking at myself in like the reflections in windows is so cool. This car, as amazing as it is in photos, it's even more amazing in person, and it's even more amazing when you see it in motion in those windows. It is just so damn cool. Now,
Man, I was visiting Canada and it just isn't the same anymore. I was walking in Ottawa and it's like a third world country. Ethnics and hijabs, everything, people not speaking English. How could you let migrants ruin such a beautiful country?
I think you're delusional, but thanks for the donation, Keck.
can't really push this like crazy. Obviously, this is a customer car, and as much as I would love to take it on the track, I don't think
Jer and Elder want to watch in the corner while you do the tranny collab for your OnlyFans. Is this allowed?
Yeah, sure, why not? Thanks for the donation, Andrew Schifano.
I'm doing that in a $2.5 million one of 600 Ferrari, but this is a very cool experience. Now, when I drove the SP1, which was the other Icona car that I drove, that was an amazing thing. And the coolest part about that was like sitting in it and just having this full world view around you, which was really, really, really neat. This car feels like more like a car. Like, it's obviously insane and it's tight in here and you have kind of this cool wraparound windshield, but it's not quite as different from like a regular Ferrari, an SF90, something like that. Now, earlier I said that in my mind, Ferrari has started to lose a little of its specialness, which is one of the reasons why they've started to come out with these Icona cars. And I think that that's really true. And cars like this really do help bring back that special feel. Like, this thing just seems insane. And obviously it's massively fast and exciting and insane. Wow, shifts are just really, really fast. The unusual part is just the sheer amount of torque and power, just sheer power you have under your right foot. Like, you can just, I mean, I'm in fourth gear cruising along here and even...
Hello VG, what's up bro? Take this donation, love you bro.
Thank you, Bosvin. Not much is up. We're just chilling. Probably gonna play some games soon. Think we'll try playing Phantom Liberty. Thanks for the donation though, dude. Appreciate it.
Even that. Oh, man, this thing is just fast. Oh, that sound. Wow, that is an amazing, amazing engine note. God, this car is so insane. Sitting in here and again, just looking at myself in windows, honestly, when you just kind of go by, it looks like you're driving a P4. Oh. This thing is so cool. You want to talk about an Icona, an icon, this car is that. And I think this car has the potential to go down as one of the truly great Ferrari road cars from this era, probably the single greatest, maybe even more than LaFerrari, because NA V12, last of the V12s, no hybrid component, even lower production, like I said, and it just looks so insane. To me, this is an incredible car, a holy grail Ferrari, honestly. One of the coolest cars that I could imagine just walking into a showroom and buying today. Not that you or anybody could do that, of course, because you have to be selected to buy this car. But if you are, it's just so cool. This is such a special, special car. And sitting in it, you just feel like a totally different, it's alien. It's alien on the road. So cool. And so That's the Ferrari Daytona SP3. This is the coolest car that Ferrari has made in years. I think it's beautiful, and it's my favorite modern Ferrari. And in my mind, it's on the level of great Ferrari supercars like the F50, the Enzo, the LaFerrari, the SP3 Daytona. This is a tremendous...
The Enzo was a really, really cool looking car. I think the Enzo is still the best looking car Ferrari ever made. I'd rather get this though. Somebody's got to buy me this. I want the one with the H pattern shifter, not the sequential. Yeah, these look so fucking sick, dude. Especially when you get them with the spoiler. They look like miniature F1 cars. Looks so fucking badass. Yeah, I think if I could get one new, I'd try to get one with a spoiler up front because the front really needs a lot of downforce. But yeah, they are such cool cars. All right.